SmackDown this week was the SmackDown before our WrestleMania event, and what absolute trash did we watch last night, because I'm telling you what, that was the middest episode of SmackDown I've seen in weeks. Hi, my name's G. I am Unicorn Goth from the Outcasted OC podcast. Grab yourself a coffee or a drink and let's talk about SmackDown this week. So the first segment was the Usos walking down to the ring, and then they were really interrupted by Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Now, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are fighting them for the tag team belts at WrestleMania this weekend. We are hoping Kevin and Sami win. But anyway, I noticed Sami Zayn had a new Titantron as well. Well, I've never seen it before, but he had the double Z's on the screen, which was really cool. So yeah, the promo between the Usos and Kevin and Sami. So it started off with Kevin Owens was talking about his past with the Usos, about how they were people he always used to look up to, how they were welcoming to him when he first started in WWE. In the locker room, they were always there for him, sort of thing. But then he goes on to go about how since they started becoming lackeys for Roman, since how they started doing everything for Roman, like how they changed and he kind of stopped liking them. So we had a bit of a backstory from Kevin Owens about the Usos. But then the Usos were all like, oh, this is blood, or this is family, you know, the bloodline is family and family is blood and that's why we do it. But then Sami was like, not all family is blood, it's about loyalty too. And then Sami's like, oh, well, I was loyal to you, Jay, from day one. Does that mean they were loyal since day one-ish? Ha 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 ha. Down since day one. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, and then they have a bit of a back and forth. It was a really good promo, actually. Really enjoyed it. I'm quite excited for their match. It's going to be good. And then Jay uses the line Bloodline Mania, and I thought that was really cool. But yeah, overall, there was a good promo. It's probably the best promo of the night from anyone. So yeah, that was that segment. So, as we go on, as the Usos leave the ring, the Street Profits enter, because the next match is a fatal four-way match between four people in the Fatal 4-Way tag team match from WrestleMania. So, the Street Profits kind of stare down the Usos as they enter and as the Usos leave, and I thought that might have been a little bit of foretelling, maybe if the Usos win, that the Street Profits might win their match tomorrow night, and maybe that's the next lineup. I don't know. Maybe I was looking into that a little bit too much. But anyway, so the tag team Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania is Montez and Angelo Dawkins, known as the Street Profits, versus Ricochet and Braun Strowman, versus Chad Gable and Otis, known as Alpha Academy, versus Eric and I can't remember the other guy's name from Viking Raiders. That shows how irrelevant the Viking Raiders are right now, because I can't even remember his name. But we won't even go into that. Anyway, tonight's match was Montez versus Ricochet versus Eric versus Chad Gable. So I understand the idea of having a taster of the match that is to come at the pay-per-view, but I feel like we're gonna see most of this tomorrow night. Why spoil it and give it us tonight? It's like a filler match. It's like, oh, let's just throw this match in as a filler when we don't need it. We're gonna see them all fighting tomorrow night against each other. So yeah, but the Viking Raiders are literally doing nothing now. I feel like they need the win at WrestleMania because the others are more well known than them. Anyway, I feel like Montez Ford needs to kind of break away from the Street Profits, and he needs to get his title run or in on that scene anyway. But yeah, Ricochet goes on to win the match. It was a good match overall. Like, all of them were showing good spots and stuff, but because Ricochet won, I feel like Ricochet and Braun Strowman are going to lose tomorrow. They're not going to win. As SmackDown goes on, we go on to a little bit of a glimpse of the bloodline in the locker room backstage, and everything seems really tense between them anyway. They didn't really say anything, it kind of just panned across them. But then we moved on to the Andre the Giant Battle Royale. So I love the idea of this match. It's so inspirational. Like, we are celebrating Andre the Giant. Obviously, that's really cool. But I feel like it's not something they need to put on SmackDown before WrestleMania. I feel like it's something they should have saved for WrestleMania, because with the WrestleMania card this year, it seems like they've tried to shove loads of people in to use up as many people as they can on the roster, and that Battle Royale would have been a good way for them to use more people on the roster in the WrestleMania card. Plus, that Battle Royale on SmackDown took up the time that could have been a promo from Rhea and Charlotte, or a promo from Asuka and Bianca, you know, something for a match that hasn't been built so much for WrestleMania. But that's just how I feel about it anyway. Baron Corbin was the first person to be taken out of that match, and as Wade Barrett said, it's just big meaty men slapping meat. That's literally all that match is. A bunch of men in a ring throwing each other over until there's one person left. There was a really good spot where Butch got thrown over. Ridge Holland caught him and threw him back in. So he never technically got out, but then he was out like literally 30 seconds later. That was really cool. The final three were Bobby Lashley, Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman. I had in my predictions guessed that Bobby Lashley was going to win anyway, and he did. Bobby Lashley won. I feel like it was kind of obvious that Bobby Lashley was going to win, and I feel like they gave him the win because he hasn't got a match at WrestleMania. How can I word this? I feel like it was a pity win. I feel like they gave him the win because he lost his opportunity of a match against Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. But that's how I feel on that. Next was the women's fatal four-way match. So this match was Natalya versus Raquel versus Shayna versus Sonya Deville. So again, we have a tag team fatal four-way match, a women's one, at WrestleMania, which is Natalya and Shotzi versus Liv and Raquel versus Shayna and Ronda versus Sonya and Chelsea Green. Now, all of these tag teams to me seem like tag teams that have just been thrown together. None of them have really worked together. None of them really have chemistry with each other. Like I said, it's just a way for them to use up the roster on WrestleMania to get as many people in as they can. But the same thing with the men's one. This match was unnecessary. It's filler. The match lasted, I guarantee, no more than 2 minutes. It was so short. What happened to women having equal rights, having equal time, equal screen time? This match was horrendous. It was awful. Like, nothing happened and it was over. Boom. Raquel won. So I feel like Raquel and Liv will not win tomorrow night. I kind of feel like Ronda and Shayna are going to win tomorrow night. But yeah, it was a weird match, and the match at WrestleMania seems like a weird match as well. But I'm all about women having equal time, equal screen time and equal rights. And that was unfair because that match was like not even a quarter of the time the men's one had. But I will mention that Michael Cole or Wade Barrett said that Natalya held the record of 11 WrestleMania events. So she's breaking records. So the next match on the roster was Drew and Sheamus versus Kaiser and Giovanni. Again, another match we did not need to see. I would have much preferred some kind of three-way promo, banger after banger after banger, between Sheamus, Gunther and Drew, and maybe they had a little bit of a tiff or something. I don't know. But when Sheamus came out first, Drew came out behind Sheamus and kind of walked straight past him and completely ignored him. So there's a lot of tension there between Drew and Sheamus, which is going to be good. This match at WrestleMania between Sheamus, Drew and Gunther is going to be the make or break of Drew and Sheamus, which I'm really excited to see. I really feel like this is going to be the match of the weekend. It's going to be a banger after banger after banger, and that literally is three big men, meaty men slapping meat. It's going to be a great match, as always, because they always perform well. All three of them are great entertainers. Okay, so the final segment of the evening was Cody came out and did a bit of a promo. We knew Roman was going to interrupt at some point, but I didn't know when. I felt like Cody was waffling on a lot. Like, he was just chatting and chatting and chatting, and then he goes, I need to finish and Roman appears. Roman's entrance was about 10 minutes long. I kid you not, it was about 10 minutes long. Roman's entrances get longer and longer every time. He stands there and goes, Cody, acknowledge me. That was it. That was it. Completely pointless. We did not need any of that promo whatsoever. It was boring. Absolutely boring. But I'm excited to see what happens between these two at WrestleMania on Sunday. So yeah. So my overall thoughts of the Friday night SmackDown before WrestleMania. I was incredibly disappointed. I feel like a bunch of the matches at WrestleMania haven't had the build-up that they deserve. And that SmackDown is like the biggest SmackDown before the big WrestleMania event, and it wasn't that good. I hope the Monday Night Raw after SmackDown. So my overall views of the SmackDown before Mania. It was absolutely awful. I was disappointed. Like, the best part was probably the Usos and Kevin and Sammy's promo. I feel it was really fillery. There was no any more build up to any of the matches. I feel like a lot of the matches at WrestleMania haven't really had a great build up anyway. So they could have put a bit more in for some of those matches. But yeah, I was not impressed at all. I hope that the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania is 10 times better, 100 times better than that SmackDown was. Because with that SmackDown was probably the biggest and most important SmackDown of the year, because it's the one right before like the biggest weekend of WWE fans. You know, WrestleMania is our weekend. So yeah, but we will be live on TikTok a few times over the weekend. So yeah, I will be live on TikTok, unicorngoth_, tonight for WrestleMania Night 1 with Reese, and tomorrow night on Night 2 with Reese and Courtney. Ross will be around as well. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy WrestleMania. I hope it turns out to be everything you want it to be and everything we want it to be as wrestling fans. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. Catch you soon. Bye!